Hey everybody, welcome back. When Jill and I decided to back the Snapmaker U1, we, as I'm sure many of you, were slightly concerned if this was too good to be true. We even researched how to get our money back just in case of catastrophic failure. Aside of being astounded by the sheer possibilities of having a 3D printer that can print multiple colors with zero waste and quickly just swap predefined colors within seconds, it's still hard to think of any better options for the price, so we went ahead and bit the bullet. We watched all of the beta testers from larger channels discuss almost every aspect.
Spoiler alert, some of the initial reviews were not that great. The forums began to fill up with speculation and false claims before the actual release of the finished product. We waited about 6 months to receive ours, and now that we've printed over 300 hours on the Snapmaker U1, we're going to share with you what we love about this printer and share with you if the claims we read were valid. But first, what were some of these concerns?
Many people were fussing about the build quality because some of the trim within the printer was a little bit offset. We read claims of poor build quality, lack of attention to detail, how the product was released way too soon, and concerns of shortcuts made before the release of this printer. Yet again, we still wanted to see for ourselves. Who wouldn't?
If you're looking at forums and Facebook groups, you must decide how valid some of these comments actually are. Most negatives usually come from people that go to such forums to share their experience and look for hints and tips to fix their issues. You don't see as often people posting positive reviews because they're busy using theirs and have not had many issues that they couldn't research on Snapmaker Wiki to resolve.
With the thousands of units shipped out and many times ahead of schedule, the frequency of complaints that we saw before and after were fairly consistent, but many issues were user error and or remedied by the 3D printing community. Some regretted asking questions because they didn't read the forums first, but overall, it seemed everyone was getting their issues fixed. I'm not saying that this printer is without flaws, I'm just making the point that the same can be said about any and every digital product that hits the market. Yes, this also includes Bamboo Lab.
Some of these folks that went online to vent and complain were sometimes trolling too.
What? No way.
Our first impression with the build quality is a more positive one, and while yes, some of the trim needed to be somewhat realigned and snapped back into place from vehicle vibrations, most of you can quickly recognize that this type of minor issue can be caused in shipping.
It literally took me under a minute to just move a couple of things around and snap them back into place. I mean, let's be for real. Shipping companies such as FedEx has literally left their footprint on mismanaged packages over many other popular shipping companies. We were concerned about what we might have received, and I was inspecting the entire delivery from start to finish. I'm glad to say that this experience was a more positive one, and the box itself was in fairly great shape.
The printer itself was very well packaged, and the instructions were easy to follow. We took our time to make sure nothing was overlooked and spent about 35 minutes getting it ready. After seeing many complain about the print heads and not understanding what certain verbiage meant to maintain alignment during installation, we had an easy go at quickly setting each of them up with zero concern. To us, it was amongst the easiest and clearest setup experience of any printer that we've installed. The packaging is right up there with Bamboo Lab and Apple.
Once we were all set up and all the calibrations were complete, we couldn't wait to get started. We started with the typical Snapmaker Dragon, and it printed with great detail, and we were absolutely mesmerized to witness the color swaps and zero waste. I still catch myself watching the print process in sheer amazement. Not to jinx myself, but I know issues will arise because every 3D printer has its share of both minor and major issues. Many also complain about the Orca-based slicer software, better known as Snorka. We have had no issues with it, and there have been updates that bring this machine closer to being amongst the best printer releases of 2026. I'm not going to get into the small details of the software in this video, but one thing we wish to see is object exclusion when circumventing around a small part that may have come loose or just failed. Although this hasn't been an issue yet, having the ability would be more comforting to know that the entire plate wouldn't have to be restarted due to a single minor print flaw. It does happen.
We haven't had any issues with bed adhesion yet, but BIQU sent us their Cryogrip plates a couple of months ago, well before the printer got here. They sent both the Glacier and Frostbite plates, and I must say, having these amazing plates has made this experience that much more comforting.
Now these plates can be sort of confusing, so I'll try to simplify of why these plates can be so beneficial to you and why they're so great, because they're both so similar. Frostbite attests to having better adhesion when using the prescribed temperatures. Remember I said that. This might be true, but it has a rougher texture but recommends 30 to 50 degrees for PLA and 50 to 70 for PETG, which saves the life of your printer and drops the electricity requirements. Winning, right? It says this plate is great for PLA and PETG. However, it also has ABS on here, so I'm not sure what that's all about. But it costs $26.99. The Glacier Pro that's on the Snapmaker U1 right now attests to be a little bit more smooth, but with less adhesion, so they say. First, the recommended temperatures are 45 to 55 degrees for PLA and 60 to 75 for PETG. Now, this also saves you a bit of electricity costs, but I honestly like this plate better for a few reasons. Let me explain. First, if you don't change your temperatures and use your regular settings as if you're using the stock flex still plates, it can be a struggle removing the prints. This can be bad if you're not careful, but since the U1 is still a bit new, those long overnight prints have had the best chance possible of success. Since the Snapmaker hasn't added the object exclusion and error notifications yet, this is a great choice. You just have to be a bit more careful with the removal process. I use a regular scraper and get under the print. Don't worry about overbending the flex steel. It'll last you a long time, trust me. Having been in the automotive industry in my past life, seeing flex steel parts stand the test of time gives me more comfort to be a little bit more aggressive with these plates. With a smooth texture and great adhesion, I'm happy, but when they add more features to the software, I'll drop the temps back down. Otherwise, these are great plates coming in at $23.99. We bought 2 Frostbites for our P2S and our X1 Carbon for normal usage, and so far, they're just perfect. I regret that I didn't get different colors that could have matched my color scheme, so make sure you pay attention to that and check to see if they even have your color in stock. Thanks, BIQU, for sending us these plates because they're certainly making my printing more efficient.
We printed multiple trays of minis for our Noah's Ark display, and none of them gave us any issues. Just look at these amazing little guys. We're lifetime members of STL Flix and love many of their models, but before it was difficult to print many of them due to the amount of colors. But now that's not an issue. We're so psyched about where the future will take us with these printers. Oop, did I say that?
Yes, we just ordered a second one, a his and hers.
Nope, hers and hers.
Whatever. It's just been so good that we will benefit greatly from spending less time waiting for long prints to finish. Doubling our full color efforts with no more waste is going to be amazing and save a lot of time. We also have the Bamboo Lab H2D with the dual nozzles, and anything with 2 colors like orcas, zebras, tigers, and such will be perfect for low to no waste prints. So I think we just have everything dialed in the way we want it. The P2S is just a beast next to our comparable X1 Carbon. The A1 can be a backup while also being the demo printer while attending market fairs. We're about to release a video demonstrating the fact that we can use the A1 on a rechargeable battery, and we only used 4% on that thing over 20 minutes, so it's definitely going with this. And so if you're interested about that, make sure you stay tuned. Our 2 Elegoo Centauri Carbons are perfect for not only single color prints, but also using more abrasive materials with little concern of more expensive clogs from a more expensive printer.
Many of our single color prints came from these in our last video, so I invite you to check it out. I'll link it down below to see our favorite retro prints. The farm is complete and we couldn't be more excited, so we're also preparing a studio tour for you.
So what do we think about the Snapmaker U1? Is it still too good to be true? I think not. This thing is absolutely amazing, and that's why we have the second one coming. Can't wait to double our efforts.
We have some new 3D printing ideas that you may enjoy, so we invite you to subscribe and help us grow our new channel. If anything, please hit the like button on your way out, and we'll see you in the next video. Happy printing and have a great day.